welcome back to the Study Show. So today, I guess my first video, was does whiskey taste different on ice or neat? And we figured out that it does. And personal preference still, a lot of people prefer to drink it neat. Obviously, some people prefer it on ice, personal preference. But my personal preference is, I think you can taste the whiskey more when it's on ice. Kind of cool down a little bit. It takes a lot of the harshness out of it. You can kind of taste the actual flavors of the whiskey more. It makes it a little bit more enjoyable for me personally. And then, over time the ice melts and, drink gets a little bit weaker. It gets more enjoyable as you go. Not that whatever. So I think it's more enjoyable when it's on ice. But that got me thinking. Is it more enjoyable when it's on ice because there's water in it? The ice melts and watered down. So is it more enjoyable because the whiskey's a little cold, but it's also watered down, so it's not as strong? Or is it more enjoyable simply because cold whiskey tastes better than warm whiskey? So that's what we're doing today. Instead of Googling it, I'm doing an experiment. And then, you might want to Google it later because this is probably going to be inconclusive. So we're doing Jameson Black Barrel today. It's Jameson. It's regular Jameson was aged in a charred barrel. 40% alcohol, which is what original Jameson is. See, if it doesn't really say anything too special about it, but yeah, it just says charge the barrel before filling them. Our coopers call it bringing the wood back to life. Black Barrel features charred and double charred bourbon barrels that deliver unique spiciness, vanilla sweetness, and nutty notes. So it's just like a little bit fancier Jameson. Comes with the cork bottle. Let me see if you can hear this. I love this sound. There it is. I just love that sound. That little right there. Oof, beautiful sound. Love it. So Jameson Black Barrel. I think this is like $40 for a 750. Like 38, $40, something like that. So it's about $10 more expensive than a typical Jameson. I wouldn't really say it's a whole lot better. It's definitely different than your typical Jameson. I wouldn't necessarily say it's worse or better. It's just different. I love Jameson Original. Probably still drink that more than this, but would definitely, especially if you like Jameson or Irish whiskeys, would definitely recommend checking this out because it is very high quality for the price. $40 ain't that much for a bottle of whiskey, and it's absolutely amazing. So Jameson Black Barrel, go get you some. Now on to the test. So we have some Jameson Black Barrel on ice. It's been on ice for, 5-6 minutes now. So ice has melted a little bit. It's cooled the whiskey down, everything like that. And then here, in this glass, I have Jameson Black Barrel again, that has been in the freezer for roughly 6 hours. So, it's obviously nice and cold, but there's no ice in it, so it's not going to be watered down. I haven't added water to anything like that. It's just straight Jameson that has been in the freezer for about 6 hours to get nice and cold to see if there is a difference. Now, one thing you'll notice right off the bat, I noticed this about a lot of different alcohols, a lot of different whiskeys that I've frozen between Jim Beam Black Barrel, and now Jameson Black Barrel. And other ones that didn't notice it quite as much. Those are the three I noticed it most on, especially the Jim Beams. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. In the Jim Beam, you can. Doesn't look like you can see it in this. But the whiskey gets kind of syrupy once it's been in the freezer for a little bit. So that'll normally change the taste a little bit, but when you pour it, sometimes you can see like syrup, like corn syrup almost looking stuff like floating in the whiskey, and it looks kind of weird. But this actually, which I haven't had it in the freezer for that long. The Jim Beam, I had it in there for like weeks or something because I forgot about it. But this doesn't look too bad, so let's go ahead and give it a taste before it warms up too much. Jameson Black Barrel, straight out the freezer. See how it is. That's delicious. Jameson Black Barrel on ice. Now you can already see it hasn't even been, I thought you said it's been on ice for 6-7 minutes by now. Everything. So you can already see it's melted, look at the comparison there in the color. A little bit of that's just, put ice in it, so the liquid is thinned out a little bit, but it also has been watered down a little bit. It's pretty cold, so let's see how it is. Delicious. I would definitely say it is not a huge difference between cold and on ice. You definitely notice it a little bit watered down with the ice in there, which obviously because ice is going to melt, it's going to water it down. So you definitely notice it watered down a little bit, mellows out a little bit. Not even saying that's a good thing versus a bad thing, but it's just, you know, kind of part of what comes with it there. Yeah, I mean, overall, not much of a difference. If you like whiskey cold, but you don't want to put ice in it, because I know a lot of people don't like to water down whiskey because, you know, they want it full powered how the master distiller designed it and everything like that, which if you're drinking it cold, some people say that you're already ruining that anyway, but everyone has their own opinion. You know, you can always get those chilling balls, or they have like little bullet shaped things, like basically metal ice cubes you put in the freezer, pull them out, and they'll stay cold. Cool your whiskey down without watering it down. Those do seem pretty neat. I'll probably get some soon and test them out and see what I think of them. But overall, it definitely makes a difference. Cold. Let's do another test since I got the bottle right here. Let's take a swig of warm Jameson Black Barrel, and then compare it to the freezer Jameson Black Barrel, and see if we notice any difference there. So, warm Jameson Black Barrel. See, it's the thing about Jameson. It's so delicious to begin with. That's just so smooth. It really is. I mean, you get a little bit of that like harsh whiskey burn in the back of your throat, just enough that you can tell, like, you know, I'm drinking whiskey. And you don't really want no like burn. You don't want none of that, like, you know, that harsh feeling. And you're just like, oh, what is this, applesauce or whatever? But you definitely get enough of that until you're drinking whiskey, but it's not overpowering. Like Jack Daniels, like you take a swig of Jack Daniels, at least me. Take a swig of like Jack Daniels and Jim Beam. It's just all like, oh, what the heck? Like all that harsh alcohol burn type deal. Where this, I mean, even straight out the bottle, it burns enough that you can tell it's whiskey, but it's delicious. You get all the notes in there. You can kind of taste a little bit of that charred barrel, some of, you know, what they're talking about there. I don't really know if I get vanilla a whole lot, but I'm also not a fine-tuned whiskey connoisseur. So, what can I say? But before we forget what that tastes like, let's go ahead and try it cold again. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar. It does, with it being cold, it definitely, again, mellows out that whiskey burn, that harshness a little. But, you know, still enough that you feel it, but not too much that if you think it's like, you know, if you think drinking it straight is too harsh, you know, make it colder. It'll mellow it out, but you won't have to drink it with ice, watering it down. So, there's a review for you. Quick recap is basically Jameson, amazing whiskey. Jameson Black Barrel, you know, not step above. If you're gonna drink it straight, I would probably put it a step above, because Jameson Original is still like just a tiny bit harsh, a tiny bit too harsh for me in particular. And I drink it neat every now and again, but you know, I can't, like, if I go to like take a shot of it or whatever, you know, I'm still gonna get that like, oh, what the heck. But you know, if I'm sipping on it, I can do it neat, but it's still a little harsh. Jameson Black Barrel, you can sip on it all day. It's just perfect. They have nailed whiskey. Jameson has. They're amazing. Not sponsored yet. Hopefully soon. I don't know. We'll see. I'd love for them to sponsor me. That would be so cool. But, you know, I also only have about 5 subscribers. So, you know, what can you do? Anyway. So, Jameson Black Barrel, amazing stuff. With it being cold, mellows it out. With it being on ice, you know, you get that cold plus that watered down, mellows it out just a little bit more. So if you're new to whiskey, you know, I'm still pretty new to whiskey. Haven't really been drinking it a whole lot, at least not like different whiskeys and trying different things. But you know, if you're new to that and you don't want to drink straight whiskey, because you know it takes a little bit to be able to handle that, like just take a swig out the bottle or whatever, and you know, Jack Daniels just be like, oh yeah, you know, that's fine, didn't even feel like whatever. Like, let's be honest, like, you know, drinking out like liquor straight doesn't like feel like you're being patted on the back by a unicorn or whatever. So anyway, if you just get into it, you know, and you don't want to have that harsh feeling, put it on ice, you know, get it cold, put a little bit of water in there even if you want to. I know a lot of people that do that. They mix whiskey and water a little bit to kind of, again, mellow it out. You know, just try different things, whatever you need to. But I would definitely recommend putting it in the freezer, putting on ice to begin with, and kind of go from there. And then always, this is one thing I'll say. I don't drink whiskey warm and neat much, but if you get a new bottle of something you haven't had before, something you've been interested in or whatever, always take at least a sip or two warm and neat. Because that's like, you know, that's kind of how the distillers have designed it. That's like what their idea of what that whiskey is supposed to be. So always take a sip or two, you know, warm and neat. Get that idea. If you like it, awesome. If not, you know, add a little bit of ice to it, see if it's better. Make it cold, see if it's better. Put a little water in, see if it's better. You know, whatever. Just play around with it. But I would recommend always trying it just straight out the bottle, right like that, room temperature, to see what you think of it and really get like more of an understanding of how that whiskey is supposed to be drinking according to the distillers. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Subscribe, stay tuned. Every Tuesday and Thursday we try to drop another one. Mostly to do with alcoholic beverages and my opinions of them, but also some other stuff that I enjoy doing in there as well. Try to get Jameson to sponsor me. Don't know how to do that. Don't know if y'all know how to do that, but if they sponsor me, that'd be really cool. So, you know, write them a letter, tell them they should, you know, do what you can. But hope y'all enjoyed it, and you know what, we'll do it with the bottle this time. Cheers.